I think people should go to museums more. My name is Natalie Meher. I'm an MA student at Goldsmith studying directing fiction. I'm an Egyptian and I've been here for almost a year in London. Last time I was in a museum was last week. I went to Tate Modern Museum. I saw all Tate Modern collection. I think it was pretty decent. There were a couple of things that I thought were pretty cool. There was this room, I think, it was full of 6,300 books. And each one had a completely different pattern of fabric to it. It was quite colorful, and when I read the description, each book, most of the books had like a golden inscription on the cover, and the artist said that these were names of immigrants that came into Britain and that were actually part of the change and development of British culture. I think he wrote about 2,700 names. And I thought it was pretty interesting because, you know, in a time where like people usually just talk about statistics and data and everything, like he managed to get something where he shows you the numbers, but at the same time to sort of make it personal, that that person isn't just another book. There is the name of that person on the book. He could have just easily put 6,300 books and said these are the people that changed. But to actually write their names is such a personal thing to, I think, to put your identity within a book because it shows you their life story. So it was pretty interesting, I thought. It made me think a lot about the names of people that we know and don't know in terms of helping make this world a better place, maybe. You know? There was this piece of, it's an installation art. It was like a tower of radios from the 1950s or 1920s, called modern radios. And I think the artist was trying to do something that was relatable to the Tower of Babel. And it was this idea of having like a tower of different radios from different times and putting the channel turning on a radio onto a different channel. So it went from like radio channels about Brazilian politics to an American radio channel about like planting tips to like opera singing radio channels. And it was sort of interesting because I think it related to this idea of communication between people, and how that sort of differs completely now. Not only just communication, I think it sort of made me think about modern times now, how each one has a way of communication that is completely different to the other person. And if you look at it from abroad, it feels like such a big mess, whereas if someone actually took the time to listen to one person and listen to their ideologies, you don't necessarily have to agree with what that person thinks, but just to be able to hear what they say and to communicate with them clearly can change a lot. I thought that was also pretty cool. The last thing was about identity. It was about this artist that went to a market in Marrakesh, and she installed like this booth where she took sort of like Polaroid, I guess, photos of women, but she gave them a choice that they either get pictured and they take their picture, or they get paid 20 dirhams. But for those 20 dirhams, she would take their picture and sort of own that. And so she made this whole like a piece where she put pictures of the women that took the money and then money in the place of women that actually decided to keep their photos. I think it was this idea of being able to sort of own something that is yours, you know, or has your picture, whereas someone else owning, in a way, an element of your identity. since it has your face on it. So I thought that was pretty interesting as well. I actually think people should go to museums or take the time to go to museums more. It's something that I don't see a lot of back at home, and I think seeing people that grow up with a lot of museums around them, I think it changes a person in a way and how they think, and having art around them constantly, whereas people that are so immersed in their day-to-day life without the capability of seeing art or nature or history around them constantly, it just makes them think on a smaller scale. So yeah, if I ever have kids, I'll take them to museums, it'll be fun. Maybe not for them, for me, I don't know what I'm saying.